For a while now, I've been making videos mostly covering Fable. The amount of people that would come to my comment section to say it's not coming back and calling me things like dumb, stupid, and not very smart was crazy. Well, where are you all now, huh? Yeah. That's what I thought. Anyway, little revenge jab aside, I think everyone is pretty damn excited to see what Playground Games is going to offer with their Fable. I've scoured through the internet and even asked my subscriber base to see what the community really wants from the new Fable game. Of course, not everyone's going to agree with this list, but I think most will. Now, before we begin, look at this chart. You see that? Over 80% of the people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed. I'm not mad, I'm just very mad. However, I am not one to hold a grudge, so if you subscribe to my channel right now, all is forgiven and we can go get some frozen yogurt. Anyway, with that out of the way, here are the top 10 things we desperately want from the new Fable game. Let's begin. Number 1, character creation. I don't think anybody would say no to more customization options for our characters. We don't need anything too crazy, but allowing us a few options from facial structures, eyes, noses, hairstyles and more would be a great addition. So far we've only been allowed to alter our hair, beard and hair color in Fable 3, which let's be honest, isn't all that impressive. I don't want body customization, I'll tell you why later in the video, but having something similar to Monster Hunter World's character creation would be more than enough. Number 2, a fully open world. Having one big fully open world would be quite the drastic change for the Fable series, as it's always had this regional based world where the map was split into many different areas. Instead of actually traveling to various locations, you'd walk through a region gate and get teleported there. I think having one giant open world like Ghost of Tsushima, or at least a split open world with giant regions to explore similar to The Witcher 3 would be better, and here's why. Well, first, it would give us more traversal options such as horses. It would also force the developers to make the environment more vertical, meaning we'd probably finally have a jump button or be able to clamber up edges. It also means we'd no longer have guided pathways. For example, in Fable 1, when you want to go to Knothole Glade, you'd have to walk the exact same path every single time, just like every other player. We'd also finally get a full-on weather effect system. Invisible walls would no longer be as big an issue. There'd be more areas to get lost in. Honestly, there's more I could say about why Fable needs to go fully open world. Heck, I even made a nearly 20-minute long video on it, but you'll see throughout the rest of this video how it greatly enhances other mechanics. Recently I've been doing a Road to Fable reboot series, which by the way you should definitely check out. New episodes every Monday, but as I was replaying Fable 1 I noticed that damn near everything holds up even in 2020 apart from the open world. Number 3, tons of creatures. Fable's creatures are so freaking cool. Hobbs and Balverines being just a couple I think are awesome, but there are a ton more too, like trolls, banshees and nymphs. I think after the first game, the number of creatures in the world dwindled quite significantly, and it actually did make sense in terms of in-game storytelling, as Albion was evolving and becoming more industrial, leaving all those creatures with no place to call home, and so they died out. However, this new Fable game has a much more Old Kingdom / medieval setting. The CGI trailer didn't show us much, but the one thing it almost arrogantly flaunted to us was its creatures and natural environment, basically saying, yeah, it's gonna be a big focus. Just like The Witcher 3, I'd also like it to have a bestiary in the game where we can record all the data we find out about creatures, like what time of day they come out, their strengths, weaknesses, drops, and more. Fable's creatures are inspired quite heavily from like fairy tales and fables and old stories and stuff like that, and I think if we just had more around the world, it would be so much cooler. Number 4, a deeper morality system. It's kind of strange to me that no other RPG has ever done morality similar to Fable. A lot of games have good, bad and areas of grey options, but Fable goes a couple steps further. They don't just make you live with your moral decisions, but also with the world and your appearances. Consequences are a very real thing, and they show in many different ways. You go into a town and kill everyone, well, there's a chain effect that occurs. Firstly, you'll gain bad deeds that change your appearance into a sort of demon creature. After that, people will react to your looks and past crimes. People will literally run away in fear. Some people will even be attracted or unattracted to you. Some shops will also increase their price of products, whereas some may lower it depending on the region. But let's take this feature one step further. I think our character's appearance should change even more drastically depending on your moral standing. I always thought it would be awesome if when you do go fully evil, you'd eventually end up looking like the demon picture in the Fable 2 box art. And maybe your character could even gain special abilities when fully good or evil. And I'd also really appreciate having more NPC reactions to your character. Number 5, lots of weapons and armor. I want the name of the person who thought removing armor in Fable 2 and 3 was a good idea. Literally the worst thing to happen to Fable in my opinion. Bring back armor in the Fable reboot, and give us tons of it too. Oh, and also weapons. That's all. Let's move on. Number 6, bring back the RENOWN system. And here we have yet another phenomenal game mechanic that no other games do, or at least as well. It's pretty simple. You start off as a nobody, but as you complete more quests, you become famous. At the beginning, you walk through the streets and no one even looks your way, but by the end when you walk through the streets, everyone has a love heart over their heads. They can't stop praising you and will even give you gifts. The RENOWN mechanic was removed in Fable 3 because it didn't make sense to have it in, as you were already famous for being the prince or princess. However, I think everybody would welcome this feature back with open arms. I genuinely don't know how they could improve it, as I already think it was pretty spot on, but if you have some suggestions, let me know in the comment section. Number 7, non-combat skills. Honestly, I don't know if this would be a good idea, but I think it would be. With the upgrade tree, we've only ever had combat-based skills. Well, what if we had some non-combat-based ones too? A couple suggestions I have is alchemy and smithing. Allowing us to brew our own potions and create our weapons and armor would be pretty badass. For potions, I think brewing health, mana, poisons, and even resurrection files would be cool. And for smithing, I'd say letting us create our own weapons from scratch would be just insane. Letting us change and customize the hilt, blades length, width, augmentation, slashing, sound, the blades coloring, the metal used. We could take it even one step further and make weapons that are specifically designed to be more effective against certain creature types. I know this all sounds crazy with the level of detail, and honestly I don't see it happening, but I can dream. Number 8, the progression system. Fable 1 and 2's skill progression system was damn near perfect in my opinion, so why Line had decided to forego this already great feature and replace it for chests and weird guild seal experience points in Fable 3 is something I'll never understand. If it's not broke, don't smash it repeatedly with a sledgehammer. It's pretty simple. If you primarily use your sword, then you'll gain melee experience that you can invest in your melee skills, plus some general experience which you can put into anything. Meaning if you want to get stronger in a certain skill, then you need to actively use it, or otherwise it will take you way longer to max it out. The other best part about Fable's skill progression mechanic was how your character's appearance would alter the more you level up. Let's bring that back, but tweak it just a little bit. First, I would love it if they took the body modifications even further, allowing our character to be taller and more muscular. Basically, I want to be All Might from My Hero Academia. Another thing I'd absolutely adore is if once you unlock a certain height or physique, you could then change it at any time while still keeping your skills. This would be great for those who don't want to be a massive ass character, which was me whenever I'd played as a female in Fable 2. Number 9, in-depth family life. There are many amazing mechanics that the Fable games introduced, but one of my personal favorites has always been the family system. The ability to buy a house, find a woman, get married and have a kid was really cool, and to have things like your kid growing up or your wife yelling at you when you've been away for a long time is also great and creates a ton of immersion. But of course it could be better, much better. I think it's the little things that matter most here. Things like more dialogue and animations for your wife and kids, special quests and emotes are only for them. The ability to gift them clothing and have them change clothes would be cool. Other great things could include like seeing your kid pick a fight with another kid, or your kid running away from home, or maybe you come home one day and your wife or husband's been kidnapped, so now you have to go and rescue them. I don't know, there's just so much that could be done here. The potential is absolutely insane, so I really hope they try to do something special with it. Bonus round time, minigames. Alright, this is a selfish thing, so I'm putting it in here as a bonus. Now look, I get it. Maybe this isn't at the tippity top of everyone's most desperate things list, but minigames are really important in RPGs. I'd love it if they brought back gambling, fishing, and bare knuckle fighting from Fable 1, also woodcutting and pie making from Fable 2 and 3, and even maybe a card game. Fable Fortune was a thing for a while, so they could definitely bring that back and put it in the reboot. Maybe even have an online aspect where you can verse your friends. Anyway, that's just my desperate thing I really want. Number 10, side quests. Do you remember that side quest in Fable 3 where there's those 3 guys who shrink you down and then you have to play as the main protagonist in their board game, fighting cardboard cutouts and listening to them voice the characters, narrate through the story and argue with one another? Yeah, that was one of the silliest, funniest, and most unique quests I've ever played. I think we'd all love more quests like that, and just more quests in general. I think we'd also all appreciate it if there were a couple side missions that were longer and maybe even split into a few parts. If there's 2 things The Witcher 3 nailed above all else, in my opinion, it was the creatures of the world and the side missions. And if the Fable reboot can take inspiration from their side missions, I think we'd all be very happy. And there you have it, the top 10 things we desperately want from the new Fable Fable game? Let me know down in the comment section if I've missed anything, and who knows, maybe if there's a lot of suggestions, I'll make another video on 10 more things we desperately want. But until then, don't forget to like this video, and if you want to be kept in the know about everything and anything regarding Fable, then subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so I can keep you in the loop with all us cool kids. Thanks for watching, peace.